Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of All Things Fantasy Sci-Fi here on Mcubed. As always, I'm your host Schmook. We're just going to be a quick little video about the new trailer for House of the Dragon, which is a prequel series set 200 years before the time of the whole quest for that Iron Throne, the whole war for the throne, and a clash of kings set during our time of a Game of Thrones, right? So, of course, I loved a Game of Thrones, but it kind of was a big letdown towards the end, which was quite disappointing. But like first 4 seasons, and then I really liked season 6 quite a bit. Like it was my favorite show on this planet, right? Like it's like those characters are perfect. I love them all. I love me some Jon Snow, love me some Jaime, love me some Tyrion. Like just so many great characters in this show. Now we're gonna be seeing a whole new cast, a bunch of new characters. This is not. I was under the impression this show was going to be about like Aegon's conquest, so about Aegon the Conqueror and his 3 dragons with his sisters taking over Westeros and forming a new dynasty here. This is definitely a little bit down the road of that for the Targaryen dynasty with a bunch of different characters that I don't know personally a whole bunch. I don't know a lot about these characters, but it should be an interesting show. Like it's cool to see like just to be back in this world. Like you have Matt Smith, he's playing a Targaryen, and then you have a bunch of other Targaryens in there. It's nice that we're gonna see some of the early Lannisters from 200 years ago, and hopefully we get some Stark interaction. Yeah, I'm just like this is interesting because this is not the show I would personally do when doing a prequel series. They were gonna do a prequel series based on The Long Night. Apparently they made a pilot, but they just decided screw it, we're not doing that. So they just got right on into this new one. Based on House of the Dragon. And this show, like based on this short little trailer, like everything looks cool. Like the set design's great, the costumes are great, and it's just gonna be nice to be back in this world. And I know George R.R. Martin is gonna have a pretty decent sized role in this. I believe he wrote it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's based on his book Fire and Blood, like which goes over a lot of the Targaryen ancestors. So it's probably going to take place, well, it's going to take place 200 years ago, of course. Again, I haven't read Fire and Blood, but it seems like an interesting thing just to go over the whole Targaryen dynasty. And of course, this was like the biggest dynasty Westeros has ever seen up until Robert Baratheon decided to take the throne for himself. And then, of course, the Lannisters got involved. They started to have the throne. Then we have Dany, who's wanting to get the throne for herself and reclaim that dynasty. So it should be an interesting show. Again, I just hope to see a lot, not like familiar faces, but familiar houses. So, of course, I want to see some Baratheons, Starks. Obviously, we're seeing Lannisters and Targaryens. And, yeah, it should be sick. Again, this is not the show I would do. One of these days, I'm going to make a video for all y'all. Probably after I would probably plan on doing, like, Game of Thrones, like, top 5 episode list. And then after that, I want to do another pitch idea, like what I did with Star Wars What If. Of course, I want to do more of those as well, but I want to do a pitch for my prequel series I would love to do, which would be about Robert's rebellion, which I think is the show they should have done first before diving deeper into like more lore, because at least in this case, we'd get characters we're familiar with, like Ned, Robert, Jaime, like Jon Arryn, a bunch of guys that would be great to see. Stannis, of course. But unfortunately, this isn't going to be the case, but it's just going to be nice to have something that's not completely connected to what we've seen. But I think it'd be nice just to get that Game of Thrones audience back with having like familiar faces, like familiar characters. And Robert's Rebellion would do that quite well, but this show's looking cool. I think House of the Dragon should be quite interesting. And like, again, I don't know what to expect, but it comes out next year. And hopefully this is a decent success. Like I think doing a Robert's Rebellion would make it like, oh, okay, like it's cool if they do more prequel shows like way in the past now, because I just want more Game of Thrones content. But I think this is gonna be a good like idea for people to be like, or for HBO to have like this show could bring in that audience again and see if it's still like that big of a thing. Like if Game of Thrones can still bring in that audience. And if this show does well, I think we'd get a lot more stuff. Specifically, and I'm hoping for a Robert's Rebellion. I want to see a whole, like, possibly 3-4 season arc on that. Because, again, I just love those characters more than almost anything. Like, Ned Stark's one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Robert just reclaiming the throne, like, in his... Or getting the throne in his prime when he's not, like, this big, sluggish king who just drinks and sleeps with women, right? But an actual, like, warrior who kills Rhaegar. And it was just, and then of course, like I would end that show with the birth of Jon, who's the Song of Ice and Fire. I don't know, it'd just be cool just to dive deeper into that lore and specifically with characters we know. But now that we're just going to be able to see Westeros in a different time, much different time than what we're used to, and it should be pretty sweet. And hopefully, I think dragons should be in it. I'm hoping they are. I don't know when exactly the last dragons were around in the Westeros lore, but I think 200 years ago they should still be around, I think. And these might be the last dragons we see, until, of course, Dany's 3 dragons. But yeah, that's really it. I say definitely watch that trailer. It looks pretty cool. I think the cast looks cool. They all look like people that should be in this universe. And man, it's just gonna be great to be in Westeros again. I can't wait because it's one of my favorite universes there is. And I look forward to 2022. I hope it comes out early 2022, but who knows. Just also another side note, there's a little bit of news we got. There's a heavy rumor that we may be getting the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus in May 2022. So 2022 should be pretty dope. We're going to be getting a ton of Star Wars content and some Game of Thrones content. So I just can't wait. Right, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you thought about this trailer of HBO's House of the Dragon. All right, I'll catch y'all soon.